So, let's talk martial arts, shall we? This is not part of my martial arts anthology, but this is a martial art video nonetheless. As you know, I am a martial artist. And the thing about martial arts is that there are so many. Let's see, how's a good way to word this? Other than using the CF. But there are so many CF questions. There are so many different possibilities in martial arts. There are so many different things that people understand about martial arts. And as a martial artist, I need to point this out to you because a lot of y'all, new age martial artists, in other words, you guys born in like the early 2000s, Lonnie Mae and a Princess Spoon. You can't make this shit up. She threw this at me earlier. Anyway, I have to throw it back at her tomorrow. Anyway, she's only 2. As an old school martial artist, I came up in the Van Damme and them era. And you guys are coming up now with next to no one really to admire other than the guys I admired and the guys that are currently top dogs, the Michael Jai Whites and Scott Atkins and stuff like that. Well, I should be rolling with them instead of making these little pissy-anty videos, but again, no opportunities, no discovery, no knowledge of who I am. But know this, as a martial artist, there are so many different varieties of martial arts that you can slide in and out of and have absolutely no decent knowledge of what works and what doesn't work. And on your journey, you will learn that the most thing that you will need to know in martial arts is how quickly you can adapt. And adaptation is the most important thing in any martial art, no matter what martial art you take, whether it's capoeira, whether it's kung fu, karate, kempo, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, ninjutsu. All of these things and their concepts are awesome, and they have pros and cons. But you need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to use what you have learned in combat, not just in tournament combat, but uncontrolled and controlled environments. Why do I keep going back to uncontrolled and controlled environments? It's really quite simple. It's easier for me to adapt in an uncontrollable environment because I've never had a professional fight. I've had a fuck ton of street fights. And as I said in other videos, if no one sees them these days, they don't really count unless you've been on the receiving end of an ass whooping. Now, for controlled environments, when you have rules and regulations, not all of the best fighters win those fights. And I say that with the respect that I give to everyone, but the fact of the matter is true. You could be a great street fighter. You could beat everybody else on the street and get into that arena and get your ass beat. And here's why I say that. Now, way back after I got out of the Army, before I had the hip replacement, I approached a friend who approached me about MMA and tryouts and all that stuff, and then he described what I can't do. And I have one simple philosophy when it comes to fighting. I fight to survive. I'm not here to fight to win and jump around and have a belt. It's the same reason I made a video the other day, and I said it then and I'll say it now. I did not learn martial arts to gather a belt. I did not learn martial arts to gather a rank. I learned martial arts for one purpose first, to be a really good fighter, because I'm small. The second purpose was I wanted to make sure that everything I'm learning or teaching someone will be effective. Mostly in the streets. I don't go around looking for fights, but I'm a small guy. And when you are the smallest guy in the room, you're the biggest target in the room. Anybody who's not 5'3" or below the 5'7" or 5'4" mark, they know this just like I know this. If you're 5'5" to 5'1" and you're a man, people want to bully you because it gives them power to think, I'm bigger than this guy. He can't beat my ass. I'm sorry, I have disc and all of it. He can't beat my ass because he's 100 and nothing. He's 5 foot nothing. And there are guys smaller than me who I didn't know about until I joined the Army. I was like, damn, this dude's like 4'11". He wasn't a drill sergeant. He was a private just like me. But he's like 4'11", which goes against the height requirement for the military. Because clearly there's no height requirement. Hell, if it was a height requirement, I might not have got in because I'm only 5'3.5". And as they said on day one from boot camp, we don't count healths. You're 5'3". So therefore I'm 5'3". But the point of the matter is, besides the heck, this dead skin is killing me because I can't get it off. The point of the matter is, did you know, I'm a strong believer in size not mattering. Strength matters. Skill sets matter. Adaptation counterbalances your strength and your skill set. No. You don't have to be a strong fighter to win, which is basically what I'm saying about being in a controlled environment versus being in the street. No. I know I don't have a lot of upper body strength. I know that my legs are stronger than my arms. You know, even with the hip replacement, it always has been that way. I'm more bottom heavy than top heavy. You know, and I'm also close to the ground. It's easier for me to be centered. It's harder for people taller to get centered low. They can get centered as low as this, but if they try to go really low, it's a little bit harder on their joints than it is on mine, because I'm already close to the ground. But the point is, the matter is that you have to adapt. I'm not saying that tall fighters can't fight. Pay attention. What I'm saying is it's skill set and skill and adaptation. If you're going against someone who's been doing this for years like me and they have belts and stuff, don't be disheartened. You know, don't concern yourself with their belts and their ranking. As I said before in another video or two, I have beaten plenty of black belts because I'm willing to go beyond what training in a dojo teaches you. Alright? And that's a problem with a lot of people, because a lot of people have not seen some of the shit that I can do. When it comes to martial arts, like, man, I didn't learn that in the dojo. Well, guess what? Neither did I. I learned that shit in the streets when I had to adapt and use that shit to fucking win a fight. Adaptation will always be your best friend in any kind of fighting that you do. Whether it's straight boxing, whether it's martial arts, whether it's wrestling. And wrestlers know this because wrestlers know that you got to be able to change directions on the fly. Especially when you get that call that says the tide is supposed to turn now and you're supposed to return the beating and then receive a beating and return the beating. You know, y'all know how it works. If you're not a wrestler, I'm sorry I just wrote that for you. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm sorry I just wrote that for you. But wrestlers are the kings and queens of adaptation. They have to adapt when they're getting hit by chairs and objects. They have to adapt because that pain is real. Regardless of what you see on TV, that shit hurts. Alright? And they teach you how to adapt when you go to these training camps. But martial arts, they don't really teach you a lot about adaptation if you don't have a really good teacher who doesn't prepare you for that shit. You have to be able to adapt, and martial arts is not just something that you do. Martial arts is something that you live. It's something that you are. It's not just, oh, well, I got this black belt, so I'm going to walk down the street, hit motherfuckers in the face because I got a black belt. They're going to jump up, they're going to want to fight, I'm going to break them up with some shit that I've learned. Unless you hit the wrong fucker in the face, who also has martial arts skills, who did not learn Tosan and Tungu and forms. He just learned how to hit. Why did I touch those spots? These are danger zones in your body. Your lungs, your sternum, they're all connected. If a person can't breathe, they can't fight you because they can't get up. A person who can't stand can still mess you up. A person who can't breathe, well, they ain't breathing. Enough said. I wanted to explore that before I went to bed. I have exams in the morning, so I need to go to bed really, really quickly. But before I do, I wanted to touch on adaptation. Because the thing about adaptation, you need to be able to adapt in that boxing ring, in that wrestling ring, in the kung fu tournaments, on the streets. You need to be able to adapt. If you can't adapt, and adapt quickly, or learn how to absorb the blow, wrestlers will tell you when they get in the turnbuckle, they have been taught how to absorb the blow. And fighters will tell you the same thing. And you need to learn how to adapt. If you watch a lot of fighters that are ground and pounders, the guy that's losing has not quickly been able to adapt. and then you have so much going on in your brain at the time, plus you're feeling a lot of fucking pain when somebody's dropping fists and elbows on your fucking face, you're going to have to adapt before you hit the ground. If you know you're going to hit the ground, then you already know you're going to hit the ground. So now you need to adapt. Which goes back to me and my friend talking about what I can and can't do in a controlled environment versus like UFC and stuff like that. And when he broke that down to me, I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to get my ass kicked because I can't elbow you in the goddamn back of the neck. I can't elbow you in the fucking back of your spine. I can't elbow you in critical spots that I have been taught to hit you in. Henceforth, you need to be able to adapt. So if a guy's going to body slam you and you can't avoid it, in a real fight, you can elbow them in the fucking neck. In a controlled environment, you're just going to have to take that blow and pray like hell you know how to fall so that the wind ain't knocked the fuck out you. But it does happen. When it does happen, you need to be quick enough on your skull to recover quickly and get out of there. So I'm going to end this video with this. The rule of survival depends on how fast you can adapt. And when you're in a fight, if you don't adapt, you take a fucking dirt nap. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. BC and you.